All right, lesson 5. Add and subtract mixed numbers. We're on page 299. 299. Hockey. Junior and adult hockey sticks are shown below. The junior hockey stick is a length of 3 2/3 feet. The adult hockey stick, however, is length of 4 5/6 feet. Use the expression 4 5/6 minus 2 2/3 to find out how much longer the adult hockey stick is than the junior hockey stick. So we're going to need to rename the fractions, and what they say by rename is we're just kind of rewriting it, and it still holds its value. So we're going to find the least common denominator, or the LCD, of 6 for the two of them. So we're going to change 3 2/3 to times 2 times 2. 3 stays the same. Comes 4/6. This is just building on the lessons that we had before this. Last period, the students were complaining, but not really complaining. They're happily complaining about how easy this is for a lot of them. So we have common denominators. 5 minus 4 is 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. So we have 1 1/6. Explain how to find 3 7/10 minus 2 2/5. So we're going to find LCD. We're going to find the LCD of 10. So we multiply that by t, multiply that by t. We have 3 7. Ew, that's horrible. I'm sorry. 3 7/10 minus 2. The 2 stays the same. One of the common errors that you might have is whenever you're finding the least common denominator, if you mess with the whole number, you don't have to do that when you're finding the least common denominator. 3 minus 2 is 1. 7 minus 4 is 3. And once again, this is just building on the other stuff. And the tip of this pen is not good. If I used a regular marker, it wouldn't record, since I'm recording the lesson right now for 4th and 5th period. Yep. Yeah. So, hi, remote kids. Does it look like that? Let me see. I changed. Oh, yeah, it does look like that. That's funny. That's funny. Add and subtract mixed numbers. Remember, a mixed number is a fraction with a whole number in front of it. That's what a mixed number is. To add or subtract mixed numbers, first add or subtract the fractions. If necessary, rename them using the LCD. Then add or subtract the whole numbers and simplify if necessary. Once again, it says if necessary, always simplify. If you guys don't simplify your answers on McGraw-Hill, it's going to be marked wrong by me and the computer. Simplify your answers. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Sometimes when you subtract mixed numbers, the fraction in the first mixed number is less than the fraction in the second mixed number. In this case, rename one or both fractions in order to subtract. For example, we have 7 4/9 plus 10 2/9, right in simplest form. It's having us estimate just to make sure that we're having an idea as to what the answer should be. So we estimate that 7 plus 10 is about 17, so we know that we're going to have somewhere around 17. We have 4/9 and 2/9. We add those two together. You could do it like this if you wanted to, the way they have it there. Or you can also have 7 plus 10, and then we have 4 plus 2/9, which is 17. Ooh, this is going to be rough to write on today. And 6/9, which simplifies to 2/3, 7 2/3. Why is this so full of ink? Well, it looks like someone used this as an eraser. I'll change it later. I'll change it later. Ain't nobody got time for that right now. Find 8 5/6 minus 2 1/3. We have to find the common denominator between 6 and 3. It's just 6. So we have to multiply the fraction of 2 1/3, the numerator by 3, and the denominator by 3. So we get 8 and 5/6 minus 2 and 2/6. 8 minus 2 is 6. 5/6 minus 2/6 is 3/6. It simplifies to 6 1/2. I'm trying to enunciate as well as possible, considering I'm wearing a mask and this is being recorded. So now, for example, we have 6 1/8 plus 2 5/8. It already has a common denominator, so I don't have to change too much. And we're adding, which is easier than subtracting. We'll get to that in a second. So we have, actually it said to do the fractions first. So we have 1/8 plus 5/8 is 6/8. Oh, I might need to change this right now. We have 8 6/8, which simplifies to 8 3/4. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you can if you want to use the room, go ahead and just use the margin over here. Yeah. Yeah. When you're doing this homework, do you have to show all this work? Yeah, you would need to rewrite it. Whenever I show examples of how to do stuff, I write what I expect you guys to write. So yeah, good question. Thank you for asking. Compared to what? What do you guys want to do with this one? As an improper fraction? I think I know what you're talking about. We will get into that a little bit later, but no, it needs to be in simplest form. It needs to be in simplest form. All right, we have 5 1/5 plus 2 3/10. We have to multiply this by 2 to get the common denominator of 10, the least common denominator, LCD. 5 2/10 plus 2 3/10. We add up the fractions. 2 plus 3 is 5. We add the whole numbers. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 5/10, which simplifies to 7 1/2. Oh my goodness. Ugh. I'm going to change it right now. It's bothering me way too much. So people that are watching on YouTube right now, there's going to be about 60 seconds where I'm going to be changing the tip of this marker. So you can, it's recording the screen and my voice.
Oh, great.
There's no camera, it's just recording the screen. All right, next one. We have 1 5/9 plus 4 1/6. Microphone's on, good. So with this one here, we have to find the least common denominator, LCD, between 9 and 6 is 18. Oh, that's so much better. It's So we're going to add the fractions first. Did I do that right? Yeah. We're going to add the fractions first. 10 plus 3 is 13. 13 18ths. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 13 is a prime number, so I can't reduce it. if the denominator were 26, with the numerator of 13, it would still not be able to be reduced because 13 is a prime number. If you do reduce it, you would have another fraction that just wouldn't work. That's a good question. No, you cannot have the multiple fractions. And that's why we're learning this now, because you just have only one fraction with a whole number or a partial number. Well, I didn't finish. Did I delete the other ones? Rats. No, I do want to give you guys the examples. Yeah, I want to show you guys the subtraction.
No one's that good at
All right, so we have 5 4/5 minus 1 3/10. We need to find the least common denominator, LCD, which is 10. 5 8/10 minus 1 3/10. 8 minus, I guess I could redo this. 8 minus 3 over 10 is 5/10. 5 minus 1 is 4. That simplifies to 4 1/2. I'm going to go over here with this one. I'm writing the margin like you guys are in your books. Whoa. Get out of here. Turn off. No. Go away, Cortana. I don't want you. This isn't a laptop. There. All right. I'd find the least common denominator between these two, which is 8. So I have 13 7/8 minus 9 6/8. 13 minus 9 is 4. 7 minus 6 is 1. 4 1/8. What's that? Am I?
Yes, you are. You're like this. You're like what?
How?
This is how you write. You write. This is how you're writing.
On a whiteboard. I'm not going to hold it like this.
Hold it like that.
No, I have bad handwriting. I hold like that. The least common denominator between those two is 6. So I have 8 4/6 minus 2 3/6. 8 minus 2 is 6. 4 minus 3 is 1. 6 1/6.
This is how my neighbor writes. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah. My guess is your neighbor doesn't have good handwriting if that's how he holds a pen.
He writes really fast. He literally goes like this. I don't understand how people can do those like dotted lines.
So now that this next example, we have find 2 1/3 minus 1 2/3. The significance of this one is the fraction is bigger for the subtractor. There's two different ways of doing this. You can rename the mixed numbers, and you can estimate 1 minus 1 1/2 is going to be about 1 1/2. But since 1/3 is less than 2/3, you're going to rename 2 1/3 before subtracting. So these blocks here represent 1, 2, and 1/3. But we're going to rename it as being 1 3/3 with 1/3. It would be 4/3. You'll see why. You'll see why. So we have 2 1/3. We borrowed from it to be 1 4/3. So it's going to be an improper mixed number. So we have 4/3 minus 2/3, which is going to be left over as being, all right, rename it as 2 1/3 as 4 1/3. Subtract the whole numbers and then the fractions. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So we just have 4/3 minus 2/3, which is going to be 2/3 left over. And check for reasonableness is a funny word. And 2/3 is about 1/2 if you were doing the estimation. Yeah. Methods too. You can use improper fractions. This is what last period liked a lot more until the very end of this section. But improper fractions, if you just multiply the 3 times 2 and you add a 1, it becomes 7/3 minus 5/3 when the 1 and 2/3 becomes improper. So that's just another way of doing that, and let's practice with it. Because if you have 88, ooh, please. If you have 88 88ths, that's the same thing as having 2 over 2. Both of those equal 1. Okay? So that's what it means by borrowing from another one. I'll show you this one. So if we wanted to do 7 minus 1.5, we're going to make them into, for this one, let's go 14 halves. Do you agree that 14 halves is 7? Because 14 divided by 2 is 7. So you're writing this down? Minus 1 1/2. You guys can use the margin for this. So I made it improper fraction, 14 halves over 3 halves. 14 minus 3 is 11 halves, which is 5.5. I made it an improper fraction so I can have a common denominator. This next one here, the least common denominator between 8 and 12 is going to be 24. So I have to multiply. Let's get a different color in here. And also let's make this smaller. So I have 5 and 9 24ths minus 4 and 22 24ths. But now since my fraction is bigger on the number on the right, we could make it an improper fraction, or what we could do is borrow from the 5. We're going to rename it as being 24 plus 9 is 33 24ths minus 4 and 22 24ths. There's 2 different methods, and I'm going to show you both of them. You do not have to do this method. With mathematics, if you can show your work and you get to the correct answer, I don't care what method you choose. 4 minus 4 is 0. 33 minus 22 is 11. 11 24ths. That does not, no, I didn't. You guys can use calculators next chapter, not this one, though. Yeah. Siblings gonna fight. For this one here, we have common denominators already. For this one, I'm going to do an improper fraction method. 5 times 11 is 55, plus 2 is 57. Minus 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. I see a lot of watching, but not a lot of writing. Only about 2/3 of you are actually writing down what we're doing. 57 minus 13 is 44. 44 over 5. Oh, don't forget the whole numbers. No, we got the whole numbers. Dum-dum. 44 over 5 is going to be 8 4/5. Ooh, we need to hurry up. We need to hurry up. The active drill slowed us down a bit. So then we have 8 3/4. 8 3/4. I can do this two different ways. I'm going to rewrite it as being 7 4/4 because 7 4/4 is 8 minus 3 3/4. 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1, and we have 4 1/4. Tune in next week. That's what he said. He said Schoology. It's not Schoolology. This is Schoolology. That's Schoolology. That's not how it's spelled. That's Schoology. And I'm a math teacher. All right. 3 1/4 minus 1 3/4. Once again, the fraction in the second number is higher, so we're going to have to rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite this as an improper fraction. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Minus 7/4. 13 minus 7 is 6. So I have 6/4, which is equal to 1 1/2. Whatever method you prefer, that's what you can use. For this one, since 16 is a high number, I'm going to rewrite 16 as being 15 6/6. Because 15 6/6 is 16. (15 minus 5 is 10. 6 minus 5 is 1. 10 and 1/6. That's right. Yes, sir? You like that method more? Yeah, what we did here for I, that makes most sense for me too. Yep. Yeah, it is a little bit more work to show, but if you prefer it, go for it. Choose an operation. Add or subtract unlike fractions to solve real-world problems. An urban planner is developing a skateboard park. The length of a skateboard park is 120.5 feet. The length of a parking lot is 40 1/3 feet. What will the length of the park be and the lot to be combined? So you're going to add both those numbers together. We have 120.5 plus 40 1/3. They have found the common denominator, which is 6, or the least common denominator, which is 6. So we have 160 plus 5/6. So the total length is 160 5/6 feet. All right, last couple examples, and we're doing well. We have 8 1/2 plus 3 4/5. We can do either method. We could either rewrite it. We can rewrite it because the second fraction is higher, but we're going to first find the least common denominator. Least common denominator of these two is going to be 10. (8 5/10) plus 3 8/10. And since we're adding, we don't necessarily have to rewrite it as being an improper fraction. We have 8 plus 3, which is 11. Then we have 5 plus 8 over 10, which is 13/10. 13/10 becomes 1 3/10 So it's 12 and 3/10 for that one. And we have 7 and 5/6 minus 3 and 1/6. We already have a common denominator, so all you need to do is just subtract the fractions. And then subtract the whole numbers, 7 minus 3. So I get 4 and 2/3. That's an ugly 4. And and a hideous 3. Wow, I didn't see that. That's so bad I need to rewrite it. Yeah. No, it was better. So with this one here, we are going to rewrite 11 as being 10 and 8/8 minus 6 and 3/8. 10 minus 6 is 4. 8 minus 3 is 5. 4 and 5/8. Yes, sir? Yes, you may. Yes, ma'am. You could do 11 minus 6, but because of the fraction, it's not going to come out as pretty. But if it works for you to do 11 minus 6, which is going to be 5, but then you're going to have to do another operation, which is 5 minus 3/8. But if you like that, you can use that. Because fraction is a part of the whole number. Because if you did 11 minus 6, notice how 11 minus 6 is 5, and you can't just tack on the 3/8 there. You would have to subtract 5 minus 3/8 again. So it adds another operation. But if you still come out with the correct difference, that's all good. You can do that. Like if this makes sense to you in your brain, that's cool. A hybrid car's gas tank can hold 11 and 9/10 gallons of gasoline. It contains 8 3/4 gasoline right now. How much more gasoline is needed to fill the tank? So, since we're finding a difference, I need to take the larger number, 11 and 9/10, minus 8 3/4. We need to find the least common denominator of 10 and 4, and it is 20. EA Sports. Yeah, I can't do it right now. Right. So now, since the fraction on the right, what we're subtracting it by is less, I don't need to do any of that borrowing or rewriting the sentence. 18 minus 15 is 3. 11 minus 8 is 3. 3 and 3/20